Okay, so I want you to picture this. It's late, you're, vibing to a new track on Spotify, maybe Instagram, and you pull up the lyrics feature to sing along. The words are just, scrolling perfectly in time. It's seamless. And if you're anything like me, you probably assume that some super smart AI did that, or I don't know, maybe the artist's label just sent over a file.
It's a very easy assumption to make. We like to think the tech in our pockets is magic, but the reality of that scrolling text is it's a lot messier, a lot more human, and honestly, a lot more controversial than you'd think.
That is exactly why we're here, because it turns out it's not magic. It's usually not the artist, and it's definitely not some high-end AI. It's often like a teenager in Brazil or a music nerd in Italy working for what is basically pennies.
Or, in these really rare cases we found, it is the artist, literally hacking the system themselves to make sure you get the emotion right.
Yes. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the hidden world of lyrics. Specifically, we're looking at the company that powers it all, Musicsmatch, and the invisible army of curators behind your screen.
And our sources today are all over the place. We've got Reddit threads, legal filings, and even some deep profiles on specific creators. This isn't just about words on a screen. It's about who controls the metadata of music.
The context of the art itself. We're going to get into the brutal economics of this gig work, which some people call a digital sweatshop. But then we're also going to explore this other side of it, this fascinating counter movement.
This is the part that I think is so interesting, this concept that the sources call the Trinity.
The Trinity. It sounds like something out of The Matrix. But it's this rare status where the artist and the data scientist become one person. We have an amazing case study of a Taiwanese creator named Willwi who has basically beaten the system at its own game.
It really raises this huge question for the music industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a digital world, do you actually own your art if you don't control the data behind it?
Exactly. So let's start at the top. Musicsmatch. I see their logo pop up sometimes, but who are they really?
They're the undisputed giant in this niche. They're an Italian company founded in Bologna back in 2010. And they claim to have the world's largest database of song lyrics and translations.
And the scale is just staggering, isn't it?
Oh, it's massive. We're talking 80 million users, 12 million songs. When you see lyrics on Spotify, Apple Music, Instagram, Vivo, even just a Google search, that data is almost always coming from Musicsmatch.
Bologna, Italy, you think of pasta, not global music data domination. But they built this empire by doing something really clever with their labor. They didn't just hire transcribers, they gamified the whole process.
They absolutely did. That's the key here. They turned data entry into like a role-playing game. If you look at their community, it's designed to hook you with progression, just like a video game. You start out as a newbie.
Okay, walk me through this leveling up process because it seems intense.
It is. You start at the very bottom, you contribute a few lines, sing a song here and there, and you level up to rookie, then talent, eventually hero. But here's the catch. You can't just apply to be a curator. That's the paid role. You have to earn these things called badges.
Badges, like in a video game.
Exactly like in a video game. It's pure behavioral psychology.
Yeah.
To get the metronome badge, you have to sync 10 songs perfectly. To get the adventurer badge, you have to translate 500 lines of text.
So you're doing a lot of skilled work. I mean, syncing takes rhythm, translation takes fluency, just to get a little digital sticker.
You are providing free labor to prove you're worthy of providing cheap labor. That's the system. Once you have the badges, you unlock the Academy video lessons, and only after you pass the dreaded curator test do you get into the paid tier.
And that test is no joke from what I've seen in the forums. People really stress about it.
It's notoriously hard. They need high quality rate. This data goes straight to Spotify. You can't have typos on the new Taylor Swift single.
Okay, so you jump through all the hoops, you get the badges, pass the test. You're a curator. Is it like a good gig then?
Far from it. This is where the gamification starts to feel less fun and more punitive. Musicsmatch is incredibly strict. If they think you're damaging the community, you can lose your status instantly.
What does that even mean, damaging the community? Are people sabotaging lyrics?
Sometimes, but usually it's just, not following the rules. Like if you report a song as instrumental, but it actually has lyrics, you could be out.
That seems really harsh for what could be an honest mistake.
The system is built for accuracy, not forgiveness, and the rules get very specific. A big one is emojis. No emojis in the lyrics.
Wait, really? The artists put emojis in their song titles all the time now.
Doesn't matter. In the lyrics field, it's a huge no. Also, no social media handles. You can't sneak your SoundCloud link into a Drake song.
Okay, that one I get. I can see why they'd want to stop that.
But then there's the rule that really got the community talking. As of May 2024, they brought in the selfie rule.
I saw this. You have to upload a selfie holding your government ID to be a curator.
Right. Now, the company says it's an anti-bot measure. They need to know you're a real human. But think about it. You're giving your biometric data and government ID to a platform for the privilege of editing lyrics for 50 cents.
And there's this constant pressure, too. You can't just get the status and relax.
Not at all. There's an inactivity trap. If you don't contribute for 3 months, you lose your status. You have to keep feeding the machine.
So it's this constant hamster wheel, chasing badges, taking tests, uploading passport selfies, and worrying about getting banned for a typo. Which brings us to the big question. What's the pay? Is it even worth it?
Well, we dug into the Reddit communities for this, specifically Serber Money Global, a place for side hustles. And the opinions on Music's Match are, let's just say mixed, is being very generous.
But numbers I saw were pretty wild. Can you break down the pay?
It's piecework, not an hourly wage at all. For a standard curator, the figure we see over and over is about 50 cents per song.
50 cents for an entire song.
50 cents. If you're a higher tier specialist, it can go up to $1.
$1. Okay, let's just do the math on that because 50 cents sounds crazy low.
You're not doing a song in 2 minutes, that's for sure. You have to listen, transcribe, format, and then this is the real-time suck. You have to time sync every single line perfectly.
Right, so it scrolls perfectly on my phone. If that's off, the whole thing feels broken.
Totally. So one user on Reddit did the math. To make just $500 a month, you need to process 1,000 songs. Perfectly.
1,000 songs. That's factory level output.
It is. Now, a user from Brazil pointed out that with the exchange rate, 50 cents USD is actually decent beer money. But for someone in the US or Western Europe, they call it peanuts, crumbs.
Yeah, one user comment really stuck with me. They said, Music's Match makes so much money, but we are paid crumbs. It just highlights that gap, A company partnering with Spotify and Apple, and the people building the product are grinding for quarters.
And it's not just the low pay. It's the feeling of powerlessness. This theme of locked lyrics comes up constantly.
Oh, right. The black box issue. What's that?
So you're a fan? You see a clear typo in your favorite song on Spotify. You go to Music's Match to fix it. You log in, find the song. You can't edit it.
Why not?
Because a distribution partner or some higher-level curator has locked it. The system trusts seniority over accuracy, but often that senior person just copy-pasted wrong lyrics to get their 50 cents and move on.
So the wrong information is just frozen in place.
Exactly. Users complain there's no report error button that actually does anything. You see the mistake, you know it's wrong, but the hierarchy just locks you out.
And it seems like this whole monopoly on data is getting some heat. We should mention the lawsuit. Just this past March, their competitor Lyricist filed an antitrust lawsuit against them.
Right. Lyricist's a Canadian company, and they're basically accusing Music's Match of monopolistic practices with their exclusive deals. So you have this high-pressure work environment, low pay, user frustration, and now legal battles.
It paints a picture of a really chaotic industrial factory floor, not some, artistic community.
No. Which brings us to the most fascinating part of this. Because in this sea of anonymous gig workers, we found a total anomaly.
This is where the story really shifts. We found a profile of a creator who has somehow transcended the whole gig system.
Yes. This is where we go from the factory floor to this concept of the Trinity.
So let's introduce him. His name is Willwi Chen Weier, a Taiwanese indie singer-songwriter, and his background is not what you'd expect for a data guy.
Not at all. He's a former flight attendant, he's classically trained on piano, and he's a hyperpolyglot. He speaks Mandarin, English, Japanese, French, Korean, Thai, and Taiwanese.
A multilingual flight attendant turned pop singer. I mean, that's a whole story right there. But what makes him special for this story is his relationship with Music's Match.
Right. He isn't just an artist who uploads his songs and, hopes for the best. He is what the community calls a hybrid. He has achieved the trinity of status.
The trinity. Okay, it sounds so dramatic. Break that down. What are the 3 parts?
Okay, so part 1, the verified artist. Blue check mark. He creates the art. He's the source. Part 2, the curator. He actually went through the training, passed the tests, got the badges. He can edit the data.
And part 3?
Part 3 is the master or king status. That's the top tier rank within the Music's Match game. He understands the algorithm.
So he's the creator, the editor, and the administrator all at once.
Exactly. And think about how rare that is. Most artists, even massive ones, rely on other people To fix their metadata, they rely on those 50-cent workers.
Yeah.
Willwi doesn't. He bridges the gap. He makes the song, then he personally goes into the database to make sure it's perfect.
The source material we have says he was only the second person in history to achieve this.
Right. He and another user with like 940,000 points. It puts him in this tiny core group of 23 global specialists. His codename is Blue with Headphones.
Blue with Headphones. It sounds like a hacker name.
It basically is. And it's so rare because think about it. If you're a serious artist who has time to be a data specialist, and if you're a data specialist grinding for pennies, you're probably not also a recording artist.
So why does he do it? Is he just a control freak?
Well, when you look at his actual music, it becomes obvious he has to do it. If he left it to the factory floor, his art would be completely misunderstood.
We looked at his song, The Art of Goodbye, and yeah, reading the lyrics, it jumps all over the place.
It's a linguistic puzzle. He weaves Thai, English, Chinese, French, and Japanese into one single song.
I have it here. There's a line in French, Sachant nous dit adieu, and then it immediately flips to Taiwanese Hokkien phrasing.
Okay, now imagine you're a curator trying to earn your 50 cents. You get this song. You don't speak French, Thai, and Hokkien. What do?
Panic. Use Google Translate and hope for the best.
You guess.
Yeah.
Or you transcribe it phonetically and get it totally wrong. Or you just mark it instrumental to avoid the headache.
Which would just destroy the entire meaning of the song for the listener.
Exactly. By holding the Trinity status, Willwi make sure his multilingual nuances, as he calls them, aren't butchered. He's not just uploading a file. He's curating the entire experience.
He calls it purpose-driven creation. He says language is a vessel for emotion.
And that's a really profound idea.
Yeah.
We usually classify music by language, right? This is K-pop or Latin pop. Willwi's work represents this shift to maybe fluid pop. The language changes to match the feeling of that specific line in the song.
But you can only pull that off if you control the subtitles, basically. Otherwise, your audience has no idea what's happening.
Precisely. If the metadata is wrong, the art fails. His Blue with Headphone status lets him lock his own lyrics so no one else can touch them. It's the ultimate form of artistic control in the streaming age.
That's actually kind of amazing. Instead of just complaining about the platform messing up his work, he became the master of the platform.
He did. It's this idea as a second trinity. The first is creating, recording, releasing. The second is the data, the curation, and the verification. He's mastered both sides.
I love that. So we've gone from this gamified factory floor with people fighting for badges to this king status where an artist is using the tools to protect his own vision.
It really makes you look at that little lyrics button on your phone differently.
Totally. It's not just text. It's a battleground.
It is. And the people winning are the ones who understand the system.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for the future? We started in an office in Italy, we went to the Reddit forums, and we ended with this super user, Willwi.
I think the big takeaway is that the future of music isn't just the audio file. It's the metadata around the audio. Context is everything now. If your lyrics are wrong or poorly synced, you lose your global audience.
And artists who ignore this, unlike Willwi, might find their work is just locked and misinterpreted by the machine.
Or by a random user trying to level up.
Right. So here's a thought to leave everyone with. If this Trinity model artist plus curator plus data specialist is the only way to guarantee total control, are we going to see a shift? Will record labels start demanding their new artists take the curator test?
That's a fascinating idea. Imagine part of your record deal is, okay, here's the link to your data entry exam.
Or does the gap just get wider? You have a tiny elite like Willwi who control everything, and then the vast majority of artists are just at the mercy of the 50-cent workforce.
It's the classic struggle between art and administration.
Yeah.
But now, in the digital age, administration is part of the art.
Administration is art. I'm going to be thinking about that the next time I'm singing along to Spotify.
Just don't upload a selfie with your driver's license while you're doing it.
Da! Thanks for listening to this deep dive. Check your metadata, everyone. We'll see you next time.
밤하늘아 오늘 하루 친구가 되어줘 손에 닿지 않는 별 하나를 내게 보여줘 까만 천장 높은 곳엔 슬픔이 맺혀서 지나온 날들이 반짝이 닫히네 우리의 아름다운 지난 날들이 걸려있네. 우리는 서로 다른 사람 곁에서 기억해야 해. 안녕 나의 모든 순간들 네가 있던 나를 기억해. 할 수만 있다면 돌아가고 싶어. 안녕 나의 어린 시절들 하지 못한 말이 남아서 할 수만 있다면 돌아가고 싶어. 우리의 아름다운 지난 날들이 걸려있네. 우리는 서로 다른 사람 곁에서 기억해야 해. 다른 하루 다른 생각 모든 게 낯설어. 향기 없는 꽃처럼 웃어도 기쁘지 않아. 괜찮은 줄 알았는데 또 생각해보면 그게 아닌데 참아온 것 같아. 안녕 나의 모든 순간들 네가 있던 나를 기억해. 할 수만 있다면 돌아가고 싶어. 안녕 나의 어린 시절들 하지 못한 말이 남아서 할 수만 있다면 돌아가고 싶어. 우리의 아름다운 지난 날들이 걸려있네. 우리는 서로 다른 사람 곁에서 기억해야 해. 늘 함께 걷던 거리에서 우린 잘 가라며 등을 돌리고 집으로 돌아가는 동안에 나만 혼자 울었을까. 안녕의 모든 순간에 네가 있던 나를 기억해. 할 수만 있다면 돌아가고 싶어.